Hello and welcome to another video from the archives. This time I'm going back to our 2019 trip aboard the Viking Sea, where we traveled through the Viking Homelands. Although I had previously published our Viking Homelands trip, this time I have gone back and added narration, different music, and broken it down into 4 sections. If you are interested in a Viking Sea ship tour and dining guide, check out part 5 of my Mediterranean Odyssey vlog. I will leave a link down below and also at the end of this video. Part 1 is going to be all about Norway. Part 2 is about our time in Denmark. Part 3 about our stops in Germany, Poland, and Estonia. And part 4 is St. Petersburg, Russia, Finland, and Stockholm, Sweden. We flew into Oslo, Norway for a 2-day pre-cruise extension. Our hotel for the extension was the Thon Hotel Opera, conveniently located across from the Oslo Opera House and in a great part of the city for walking. One of our first supplied Viking tours took us to Frogner Park and the permanent Gustav Vigeland sculpture installation within the park. All of the statues in the Vigeland collection depict a range of emotions and people doing normal day-to-day things. The big gotcha of this exhibition, all 212 figures are naked. Yes, Martha, I said naked. Ironically, the only statue depicted clothed is the statue of Vigeland himself. The exhibition takes up only a small part of the park in actuality, and the rest is given over to typical park-like things like flowers, trees, shrubs, and the like. Apart from depictions of daily life, some of the figures are doing quite abstract or downright strange sort of things. A good case in point would be the sculpture entitled The Monolith, where over 30 groups of figures are clawing their way to the top of a vaguely phallic sort of sculpture. And so I leave you with one last sculpture, this one entitled The Wheel of Life. One of our next stops would be the Viking Ship Museum. The museum contains the most complete and intact Viking ship. This ship was found in a burial mound with a large amount of burial goods and was likely buried in the 800s AD. While open in 2019 when we visited, the museum is unfortunately not open at present and will be closed until around 2026. It is believed that the museum is refurbishing these ships and possibly moving them. On our second day in Oslo, we took a walking tour around our hotel. Right across the street from our hotel is the very imposing modern opera house. One of the neat aspects of the Opera House, it is built to allow people to walk on its roof and has free access to the roof for anyone that wants to make the climb. Another neat place to visit is the Akershus Fortress near our hotel, which unfortunately was closed as well. We did have the opportunity to stroll the courtyard of the Armed Forces Museum. The next morning, we were up early and took a short walk from our hotel to the train station directly behind the hotel, where we boarded our train that would take us from Oslo to Bergen, Norway. This scenic and beautiful railway journey offered up spectacular views all the way into Bergen. Bergen was formally founded in 1070 on what used to be a Viking settlement. The face of Bergen is an interesting mix of eclectic and interesting architectural styles. Much of the flavor and the structure of Bergen has been determined by the arrival in 1350 of the Hanseatic German Trading League. One thing that you will find throughout all of Norway is a constant reference and a sighting of trolls. These creatures of Norse mythology can be found in every gift shop in Norway, as well as scattered around the landscape. For a new and interesting perspective, take the funicular up the mountainside for interesting and sweeping views of all of Bergen. From Bergen, we cruise down the fjord to the village of Eifjord. After a beautiful cruise into Eifjord and passing under what appeared to be a bridge to nowhere, we docked in tiny Eifjord. While there isn't much going on in Eifjord other than great natural beauty, it was there that we hopped on our tour bus and started with our real tour. After now crossing that bridge to nowhere in our bus, our first stop was Tindefossen Waterfall. After leaving the Tindefossen waterfall, we made a couple of more stops on our way to the scenic Flam Railway. The scenic Flam Railway is a beautiful journey that wends its way past waterfalls, valleys, fjords, and mountains. waterfalls that we passed, perhaps the most famous is the Josfossen, that features a stop and a visit with the Huldra. The Huldra is a mythical creature with the body of a woman and the tail of a cow. As legend would have it, the Huldra dances, seducing men into marrying her, at which time the legends sort of vary widely on what happens to the man after marrying the Huldra. Not to spoil the fantasy, but the Huldra that you see portrayed here is actually played by a man dressed up as a woman. After our train ride, we once more boarded our trusty motor coach and stopped at our next waterfall, Searsfossen. Our motor coach, after ushering us past dozens of more waterfalls flowing down the mountains, brought us back to Eifjord. In Eifjord, we were given time to walk around and explore. A good pair of shoes is all you will need to fully explore Eifjord and the beautiful scenery that surrounds it. The sail away from Eifjord was as spectacular as the entry into Eifjord. The next morning brought us to Stavanger. Stavanger is one of the centers for Norwegian oil exploration, but still has a firm connection to the past with its picturesque old town. After walking through and exploring the old town, we were turned loose in the more modern but still quaint city center and business district. There were few surprises in the business district other than a 7-Eleven and a Los Tacos restaurant, along with several bars and grills. Stavanger is certainly a funky mix of the old and the new, with something different around every bend. Stavanger was our last night in Norway, and we sailed on toward Denmark with stops in Alborg and Copenhagen. Well, that's it for part one of our Viking Homelands tour. If you found any of this interesting, please like and subscribe. Please check out some of our more recent videos and our short shots videos from the archives. If you are interested in a Viking Sea ship tour and dining guide, then click on the link above from our Mediterranean Odyssey aboard the Viking Sea. We have more travel planned, so we will be updating this channel as new content becomes available. Thank you for watching and happy travels.